When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
Welcome back to the channel. For all of you new guys, welcome to the channel. Where me and Bibby just have a load of fun with loads of their good new stuff and basically dick about for 15 minutes. Or maybe 20, depending on how long the video goes on for. So today we've been blessed with early access, even though you guys are seeing it on launch, to the new IRT Pulse by Laney amps. What this is, if you followed any of the other IRT videos, is basically a pedal-sized amp, is the easiest way to say it. Other companies are doing their damnedest to emulate amps. What these guys are doing is doing their best to not emulate amps and actually make amps. So what we've got is, we've got the difficult bits to emulate, which are the valves, in a little pedal-sized one. EQ is taken care of by some buttons. So we've got a bright, which basically kicks up the treble. We've got a dark, which basically takes off the treble. We've got an EQ, which basically is your mid-scoop. There's a cabinet emulator on there, and there's a bypass on there as well. So you can run it into many different outputs. You can run it into amps, into the PA, or into your digital audio workstation, which is kind of, we're going to look at all of those now. But first, let's start with just looking at in your door.
Crom laps with your 4 wins.
So what we've got here is Logic Pro, Raw Logic Pro 9 running on a Mac. And as you can see, if I just mute that track out, we have got our IRT DI, an IRT Tone, IRT Re, because we can reamp this amp and it's dead easy. And we've got a crunch and a snap. So they're kind of the channels I'm using for my crunch tone and my clean tone. So let's have a look at how we can make that happen. So let me just delete them. Bang, bang, bang.
Can you believe that? Huh? Can you
Gone. So what we've got here is, we've got the IRT Pulse runs into 2 inputs. It runs into input 1 and it runs into input 2. Input 1 is your clean DI non-affected signal. Input 2 is your affected signal. So whatever settings you've got on your Pulse will be what channel 2 is listening to. The reamp listens to input 2. So you then loop a clean signal back through the IRT Pulse, back into your door, allowing you to completely save all of the time in the world. So we'll have a little look at that now. So what we've got is our IRT Pulse clean. We're going to arm that channel. I'm going to set it to record. And we're basically we've muted every other channel out that we're going to use. So now I've got a clean and a dirty channel. The clean channel, which is just our DI, completely unaffected. And then we've got just our tone channel. Which, for again, running, you'd have to run all of your mics. And the problem we're solving here basically is we don't have to mic loads of amps up. It's this tiny little box of Win. So with that, that's now my 2 sounds. So if I record, I'm going to record that in. So what the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that my clean sync signal is not overly loud. It's not clipping the system out. So I'm just going to bring that down to a nice enough level so I can hear it, but it's not driving, because remember, this is going to be your input signal for your reamp. So that's ready to go. We're recording those both channels, and then I'll just hit record. So that's now recorded in. Stop that, and as you can see, we've got one channel which is clean, obviously, because it's a lot more dynamic than the compressed distortion channel, and we've got a distortion channel. So let's solo them out and see what they sound like. The clean, just giving you nothing, basically, it's just a direct signal. The dirty, that's all in there as well. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to now reamp that. So what I've got to do now is take this back to the start. I'm now taking record off those two, and I'm not monitoring them either. I am going to monitor the reamp channel, and I'm going to arm that. Now this is input 2, output 2. And this is now listening to this clean channel. And all I have to do is go to the magic box of Win, which is the pulse. And I'm going to press this reamp button. So I just click that in. Now I am the pulse. So I've got all of the control I need. So with this channel, I want to go for a crunch tone. Not stupidly overdriven, just a little bit of beef. So I'm going to turn the gain down on that. I'm going to leave the level kind of where it is, and I'm just going to run that through. Now, before I record it, I'm just going to monitor it and just see what the tone is. Right, so I'm good with that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to record that section. And this is allowing me to completely save all of the time in the world. That might have been the best guitar take I've ever had. I'm not going to be able to emulate that again. Now, there's a lot to be said in that, but some of the tracks you just want to make it happen, you just want to make it sound bigger. And that's what I want for today. So how much time has that just saved me? I've now got, if I solo that through, completely new track. Maintain all of those little subtle nuances with the vibrato in there, with even occasional slips of notes. Done. That simple. So now if I wanted to maybe combine those two, all I need to do is pull that into a track, turn it into a stereo track, manipulate it, put effects on it if I want to, EQ it differently if I want to in the digital audio workstation world rather than the outboard world, and I'm good to go. Let's now see how that sounds with a clean tone. So I'm now going to move that out of that world into my crunch world. because that's what it is. I'm now going to look for a snappy, clean tone. So again, I don't have to go and buy a vendor amp or a new amp. I've got all I need in the Pulse.
Crom, I've never prayed you before. I have no tongue for it.
I'm getting very advertised here, aren't I? Right. Now, just this is freaking easier, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click off the hot, which is basically go. It's the go button. And I'm going to monitor that and see what that sounds like, muting out all of the channels. So now, let's give it a bit more gain. That's snappy enough for me, so that'll do. So let's record into that, and I'll just set it off again. And it just does it all for me. I've literally done a 3-track guitar part that's immaculately timed, perfectly played for what my original intention was. And I'm not farting about with setting loads of new things up. It's all done in the Pulse. Just Charlie Winbiscuit, whoever that character is. Do you reckon he'd be a fun guy, wouldn't he? Charlie Winbiscuit.
He sounds like he might be a fun guy.
So guys, that is basically it. There's some of the tones that you can get out of it. That is what it sounds like through a digital audio workstation. That's how you reamp. It's just super cool. Absolutely awesome. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to cut to what it sounds like in the front of an amp, and then we're going to have a look at what it sounds like in the effects loop of your favourite valve amp, because you don't have to be Laney. You should be, because they're amazing, but it'd be nice if you can just throw this into other stuff.
Enough talk!
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women. That is good. That is good.